الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. All praise is due to Allah. We thank Him, we seek help from Him, we ask guidance in Him, and we seek forgiveness in Him from our own evils and from our own bad deeds. Anyone who has been guided by Allah, they are indeed guided, and anyone who has been misguided by Allah, you will never find a guardian to guide them. I bear witness. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except for Allah, the only one without partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad ﷺ is His servant and His messenger to proceed forward. Shut up. You're such a loser. You're so lame. God, I hate my parents. Ali ibn Abi Talib reports that the Prophet ﷺ gave him a scroll on which was written the words, "May Allah curse those who curse their parents." So what I'd like to do in this khutbah, inshallah, is after last week talking about the International Women's Day, and we talked about the high position of mothers, what I thought I'd do in this khutbah is talk about the respect or kindness to parents. And I think I've gotten your attention in the beginning part of this khutbah. You know, we're living in a time when this language that I just used has become so common that it's considered acceptable to be able to speak to your parents in this way, and it's wrong. We must keep in mind that Islam is a complete way of life, and sometimes we tend to forget this, and sometimes we ignore it because it's an inconvenient truth for us. And so on top of the praying 5 times daily prayers, the fasting, the following all of the other rules that are there, and it is imperative that we do that, no doubt. But we also need to think about other aspects of Islam as well, the kindness, the mercy, the gentleness, the forgiveness. And in this khutbah, as I mentioned, what I'd like to do is talk about kindness to your parents. And so sometimes we get so caught up in the rituals of Islam, and as I mentioned, they're important, but we forget or we ignore the things that deal with the self. The things that deal with the self. So we're too busy praying to worry about our own nafs or cleaning up our own hearts, as you may. And so I'm addressing this about kids, what kids say to parents, and that's how I started off. And I'm targeting, however, both the parents and the children, because every parent that's in here is a child to somebody else. And I hope that my advice in this khutbah will not fall on deaf ears, no matter how old or how young you are from there. Because in most cases, our children are a reflection upon ourselves. Our children are a reflection on ourselves. The way we are with them, and more importantly, the way we are with our parents, so will our children be to us. As we are with our parents, our children will be to us. There's a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, "As you are kind to your parents, so will your children be kind to you." As you are kind to your parents, so will your children be kind to you. So if your children are speaking rudely to you, and you can't figure out why this is happening, or where did this start, or how did it ever change from them being this small little cute baby into them now yelling at you and screaming at you and maybe turning a blind eye or looking at you in disdain, when they're doing this to you, when you have that, all you have to do is look at your own self, look at your own actions. Because if you forget your parents in your old age, if you disdain them, if you don't have to necessarily talk back to them in front of your children, but children pick up on these little nuances. And if you're not going to be with your parents and being taking care of them, respecting them, showing them kindness, the same thing will happen to you as you're getting older and your children are getting older as well. We have great examples in the Quran about how even to address your parents and your children. And we find many times that children follow the teachings of Islam more than they do their parents. How many of us in our generation, I know growing up, I meet a lot of people that that tell me, not my generation, but my parents' generation, they tell me, oh, we didn't follow Islam that much until my children started to follow it, and then we began to follow it as well. Other times they say, well, I'm not really following Islam that much, but I know my children are doing this really to the letter. So this happens quite often in this thing. But in that being said, how many of us as quote-unquote religiously practicing Muslims, whether our parents or not, how many times do we find ourselves reprimanding our parents or speaking to them rudely because we think because we're following Islam and they're not, that we have a right to be able to do that? How many times do we get caught or see that situation ever happening in front of us? But now let's take a look at that scenario and then take a look at a prophet of Islam, alayhi salam, who actually, his father was a non-believer. He was a mushrik. And yet, look at how exactly he behaved with his father. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in translation, He says, and mentioned in the book, Ibrahim, verily he was a man of truth, a prophet. When he said to his father, O my father, why do you worship that which hears not, sees not, and cannot avail you in anything? O my father, verily there has come to me a knowledge that which came not upon you. So follow me, I will guide you to the straight path. O my father, worship not shaitan. Verily shaitan has been a rebel against the most beneficent, Allah. O my father, verily I fear lest the torment from the most beneficent overtakes you, so that you become a companion of shaitan. So his father told Ibrahim, and he said, do you reject my gods, O Ibrahim? If you don't stop doing this, I will indeed stone you. So get away from me safely before I punish you. Ibrahim said, peace be on you. I will ask for forgiveness of my Lord for you. Verily, he is unto me ever most gracious. And I shall turn away from you and from those whom you evoke besides Allah. And I shall call upon my Lord, and I hope that I shall not be unanswered in my invocation to my Lord. Now this back and forth between Ibrahim ﷺ and his father is very, very special, and a lot of things we can learn from this. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is notice that Ibrahim, even though he's talking to his father and he knows that his father is wrong, how does he address him? Hey, don't do that. That's not what he says. He says, Ya abati. You know what Ya abati means? It's a term of endearment. It means, oh my dear father who I love very much. Oh my dear father that I love very much. Why do you do what it is that you do? I've been given something that you haven't been given. So I've been given a knowledge that I have more knowledge in this particular subject that you haven't been given, so don't follow this type of thing. This is the language that Ibrahim ﷺ is using. And over again, you hear him say this, Ya abati, so-and-so. Ya abati, so-and-so. Ya abati, so-and-so. And to the fact that when you're making a point to somebody, imagine yourself in a conversation and you're talking to the person, and this person happens to be Ahmad as an example. The more you use his name in a conversation, the more that person will pay attention to you. If you say, Ahmad, I was walking down the street, and I saw a car. Or you say, Ahmad, I was walking down the street. Ahmad, I saw a car. You see how the way you actually address him over and over again makes the point have more emphasis. And this is what Ibrahim is saying to his father. Ya abati, don't do this. Ya abati, I've been given knowledge. Ya abati, don't follow shaitan. When he's doing this, he's basically teaching, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching us the way to be able to not only have a conversation, but also have a conversation with our parents, even if they're doing the gravest sin possible known to creation. What is that? Shirk. Belief in other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the greatest sin, and yet Ibrahim ﷺ is talking to his father in the most gentlest and kindest of ways. On the other end, these days we address our children sometimes in the worst of ways. We dress our children in the worst of ways, and we expect them to treat us with respect when we have no respect for them. When we have no respect for them. And it doesn't work that way. We need to set the most excellent of examples for our children, as the Prophet ﷺ set the most excellent example for us in how to behave. If you look at the readings of the Prophet ﷺ, you'll find this in the Sunnah, in the Hadith, of what he did with children, how he reprimanded them, or actually the lack of his reprimanding. He never actually told somebody, don't do this, or why did you do this way? But rather, he would, if somebody came up to him and he did something wrong, he'd say, it's better if you would have done it this way. That's the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. So everyone sitting here today needs to make an assessment of what their relationship is with their parents. When was the last time you spoke to them? When was the last time you told them a kind word? When was the last time you sent them flowers? Or you told them that you love them? Or you told them what a blessing it is to have them? Or you wouldn't be in a state, or whatever state you are in today, as a good person, as a high person, as whatever it is, if it wasn't for you, Ya Abati, or Ya Ummati. Oh my dear father, oh my dear mother. And if you're living away from your parents like I am, thousands and thousands of miles away, it's something that really does bother me. The fact that I'm so far away from my parents and I'm not with them. But the best thing I can do is call them as often as possible. At the same time, I have to be able to make dua for them over and over and over again. This is at least something that I might be able to do. It was the dua that we recite for them. Rabbi Irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Oh my Lord, have mercy on my parents as they had on me when I was small. Oh my Lord, have mercy on our parents as they had on us when we were small. It was narrated that the parents of a servant of Allah, or one of the parents, died while he was unkind to them. So there was a servant of Allah, and he was unkind to one or both of his parents. But later, this servant of Allah, he was rewarded as being a good son by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason that was given is because of his frequent supplication to Allah for them and asking Allah's forgiveness for their sins after they had passed away. So even if you think back to your own life and you're thinking, my parents are not alive, but I wasn't very kind to them. I didn't have any respect for them. I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. There is still hope. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is full of asking us to have hope in Him. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? That if you pray for them, if you supplicate for them, and if you ask forgiveness on behalf of your parents, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still write you as one of a good son for your parents. So we still have hope. So don't ever lose that. Even if your parents are alive, it's still incumbent upon us to be able to pray for them, pray for their forgiveness. Rabbi Irhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. And as I said earlier, this aspect of Islam, of the Sunnah that this is the Sunnah that we tend to least address. We tell our children and we teach them about the rituals. When you go to madrasa, or when you go to an imam and you teach, what does he teach you? He teaches you how to pray, he teaches you the fiqh of zakat, he teaches you how to fast, he does all of these things. But I can't remember for myself actually the last time I was sitting in a class and my imam told me how to be kind to my parents when I was growing up. It never happened. Why is that? Why is it that we lose out on those aspects of Islam and we only are taught the ritualistic aspects of our deen? We give them the 5 pillars, but never the pillars of being kind to people, to being never cheating them, never lying, or being kind to our parents. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, somebody was asking him, which deed is dearest to Allah? And the Prophet ﷺ responded back and he said, Salah, prayer. And then the companion asked, what next? And the Prophet ﷺ, he responded back and he said, kindness to parents. And then he said, what next? And he said, jihad fi sabilillah. So this is an ordering that the Prophet ﷺ has given us of how we should be. What are we supposed to be taught? The first thing we should be taught is how to pray. And then pray. The second thing is not about anything else, but also about being kind to our parents. How do we do this? How do we respect how do we show respect to our parents? A lot of times we're not taught this, and sometimes even for myself, if I don't teach my children this, and all they see is disrespect from me and from my parents, or they don't see anything at all because my parents live 8,000 miles away, then how are they going to learn? How are they going to learn exactly how to treat me when I get older if they're not learning how I treat my parents in today's in this day and age? And so it's easy for us to fall into this mind frame because we can only judge the outside, right? But the inside is equally or as important, or maybe even more important than whatever is on the outside. Inside yourself, no one sees you, so it's easy for you to hide it. In your family, no one sees you except for your family, so it's easy for you to be able to hide it. But you know, the outer manifestations that we have always are dependent upon the inner. I've yet to meet somebody who was very rude to people and yet was very kind to his parents. Because with kindness to your parents, you learn how to be kindness towards mankind. But a person who's rude on the outside to everybody else, I can almost guarantee you that they're also going to be rude to their parents, to their wife, and to their children. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those, if our parents are alive, to treat them with kindness, with respect, and always ask for their forgiveness. And if they have passed on, then we constantly are in remembrance of them and asking for their forgiveness and having mercy on them. Allah have mercy on them as our parents had mercy on us when we were growing up as children. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لكم واستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. So continuing on this theme of really being respectful and kind towards our parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran in two separate verses. The first one in translation, and we have not enjoined upon people except goodness towards their parents. And in another one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in translation, show gratitude towards me and to your parents. Right? So the first act we have to do is show gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to thank Him for the blessing that He's given us. And then after we've thanked Him, then we thank our parents. Why? Because if it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be alive. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be in the state that we're in right now if it wasn't for our parents. So it becomes imperative on us today to make a commitment to be good, kind, and gentle towards our parents. And if we are, then inshallah our kids will be the same unto us, as I mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in my earlier khutbah. Make a commitment. Not even to say one word of rejection to your parents. Because if they are Muslim, then Ibn Abbas stated that Allah will not be pleased with a person until his parents are pleased with him. Right? That Allah will not be pleased with a person until his parents are pleased with him. And then somebody asked Ibn Abbas, and a man asked him, but what if his parents are unjust to him? And Ibn Abbas responded back and he said, even if they are unjust. Even if they are unjust. We have to be able to show that kindness and that respect to our parents, even if they are unjust to us in whatever way we find it. Brothers and sisters, I can't spend too much time. I realize now that the food is being served every single time. I'm standing in between you eating and my khutbah. So I want to be very respectful of the time that we have together in this khutbah. So I can't, obviously tell you all of the virtues that we can benefit from if we are kind to our parents. But I will say this, that if we want to end up in paradise, we better ask from it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then we have to make sure that we are good to our parents. We have to ask for the paradise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then secondly, we have to be good, show respect, and be kind towards our parents.